Okay, I think we'll get started. If you're coming from the GNL project, I encourage you to look at the introductory video for this playlist to make sure this is the right course for you. All right, we're going to pick up from last time, and there's actually a hidden gem in the ray tracing diagrams that we worked on last time. And so let's see what we can find by looking at them a little closer. So I'm going to just take the first two, and then maybe you can do this for the rest of them. And in class, maybe what we'll do, since the ray tracing diagrams aren't perfect, you're kind of reading off of graph paper, maybe we'll take some averages of the whole class for those of you at Concordia. Okay, so let's look at the setup for number one on the ray tracing diagram. If you still have that, you can maybe pull that out and look at it. But we were given that the object was placed at 15 and the focal point was 6 for this converging lens. We did our ray tracing and we found the object to be at S prime equals 10, so it was real and inverted. Now, we don't know this yet, but let's just try this. Let's take the reciprocal of each of these two numbers and add them together. Okay, why are we doing this? Well, we're just exploring here now. So if I take 1 over 15 plus 1 over 10.2, I get this number here. Okay, well, that doesn't look like anything yet, but let's then take the reciprocal of that. So we're going to add the reciprocals and then take the reciprocal of that. And what do we get? We get 6 basically, right? Pretty close to 6. And certainly within the ray tracing diagrams, this could be 6. Right? Now this doesn't say anything immediate, doesn't prove anything, but we're seeing, oh, this is 6. Well, where is that 6? That looks like F, doesn't it? Okay, well, let's try this for number 2. This was a little different scenario. This was the same lens, converging lens, but we had a virtual image this time. So maybe this won't work for virtual images. Now with the virtual image, S is a minus 15. So we have to make sure we have this minus sign. And the object was placed at 6 and the focal point was 10. So let's take 1 over 6 and 1 over minus 15. And we get this number here. And let's take the reciprocal of this. Oh, that's pretty close to 10, right? And F was 10. So in fact, what we're seeing here is something called the lens equation. And indeed, it is the case that if we add the reciprocals of the object and the image, then we get the reciprocal of the focal length. And so this is an important equation. And what's nice about it is it essentially allows us to not do the ray tracing anymore because we can just use the lens equation to figure out where things are set up. So let's just do an example of that. This might be an example of applying ray tracing, so we would have to do this with graph paper, but let's try this now with the lens equation. So let's say we're given a 30 centimeter focal length converging lens, so F is 30, and so F equals 30 is given, and we want to produce an upright image that is 3 times as tall as the object. So what does this 3 times mean? This means that the magnification is equal to 3. Well, what do we know about the magnification? That's h prime over h, and we're said 3 times as tall. Good, we have that. But we also saw that magnification was minus s prime over s, if we include that minus sign carefully. And we had talked about how we could use the absolute ratio and then just say inverted or upright. Well, here, when we're using the lens equation, we need to carefully, we can't put words into the equation. We have to use the minus signs appropriately here. So very careful there. So we can solve this now. Just cross multiply here, and we get s prime equals minus 3s. Okay? F is 30, so the lens equation becomes 1 over F, so 1 over 30 equals 1 over S plus 1 over S prime, but we said S prime was minus 3S. So that eliminated one of the variables here. And so we're now, all we need to do now is solve for s. So we put this over common denominator and then simplify and solve, and we get 20 centimeters. So I encourage you to try this with the ray tracing. It would be a good practice for your ray tracing as well, and see if you should get something close to 20. Of course, you'll always have some variability in the ray trace. Okay, let's look at some special cases now that the ray trace would be very hard to do. Let's say our object is out at infinity. So we've talked about like the special types of rays. This would produce parallel rays. And we talked about the sun being so far away that all the light rays that are hitting the Earth are basically parallel. So if we put the object a long ways away at infinity, obviously that would be hard to do on the ray trace diagram. So, but it still works here in the equation if we understand what the infinity means. It means a very large number, right? And we just take the limit of that getting very, very, very large. So we have 1 over f equals 1 over infinity. Of course, undefined, but what we mean here is 1 over a very, very large number. So this is going to end up going to 0, leaving 1 over f equals s prime. And so what this does is it says that the object will sit at the focal length. And this is exactly what we know about a converging lens here. If we've got if we have these incoming parallel rays, then they will be focused to a single point, right? And that would be true of a converging lens, right? Or a converging mirror, because the S is just, a positive S is just on the other side for the mirror. So this would work for either converging lens or converging mirror. It's not even a case for a diverging lens or a diverging mirror, because that wouldn't focus. Okay, let's try another special case. When we put the object right at the focal point, okay, so we're free to put that object anywhere. We might accidentally or on purpose put it at the focal point. Whoops, this is incorrect. So we put our object at the focal point, and so we have 1 over f equals 1 over f plus the image position, 1 over the image position. So 1 over the image position then equals 0, because we'll bring this over to this side. Well, what does that imply? It means that s prime must be very, very, very large. So s prime is infinity here. So another sort of degenerate case here where we would go all the way off of our graph paper if we were doing ray tracing. So the lens equation handles these limiting cases. All right, let's finish with just one quick example here. Another example. So let's say we're going to use a magnifying glass to blow up some text in a book so that we could read it better. So we're going to use a magnifying glass with m equals 5. Well, that's actually quite a strong magnification. But let's just say m equals 5, and it's placed 2.5 centimeters above the page of the book. So we've got this magnifying glass that we're looking at over the top of the book. So what does that mean? What's the object? The object is the book, the text in the book. So we're trying to see a crisp, clear image of that text. So in this kind of a word problem, it doesn't really say object here, so we have to identify what is that. That is the words in the book or the text or the surface of that page. And so this tells us that S is at 2.5. We're given a magnification of 5, and we know that the magnification is given to us by minus S prime over S. And so that allows us to solve for S prime. And so we get a minus, careful with the minus sign here, a minus 12.5 centimeters. So let's use the lens equation. We don't know the focal length of this magnifying glass. We're given the magnification factor, but we want to find here the focal length. So we use 2.5 minus 12. We get 1 over f equals 0.32. So f equals 3.125 centimeters as its focal length. So we have placed the book or the object in between the focal point and the lens in this case. All right, so this is the lens equation. Great equation for working with turning these ray tracing diagrams into a quantitative equation. You still want to be good at those ray tracing diagrams, so you want to be able to practice that. But now you can compare and contrast with the lens equation. So when you do a ray trace, you can check that with the lens equation and vice versa.